Welcome to the Purpose to Create podcast with Natasha Wright, a business podcast for photographers and creativepreneurs who want to level up as they pursue their purpose to create. Lean in as we connect, inspire, and impact you as you build and grow your business.
I'm so hyped that you're here and listening to today's show. Today's guest is Megan Lee of Megan Lee Photography, a luxury photographer for city lovers based in Pittsburgh and DC. Megan and I instantly connected recently at DC Wedding Week on a panel that we were on for photography. And I just knew I had to have her on the show. On her off-wedding season, she fused her creativity through high fashion and bridal fashion photography. In today's episode, we're chatting all about fueling your creativity. Megan, welcome. I'm so hyped to have you on the show.
I am so excited. I have missed you so much ever since DC Wedding Week. And when you emailed me, I was like, yes, like I get to talk to her again. So thank you.
Oh, no. Thanks for being on. I can't wait for us to meet up again in real life when we have some more time to just hang out.
Us being people just have to stick together.
I love it. So I'm going to jump right in because I want to talk all about fueling your creativity because I know as photographers and especially wedding photographers, it can get a little bit stagnant and, we can get into this routine and kind of lose our spark and creativity. So I'm really excited to hear more about your high fashion photography and how'd you even get into that. But before we get into all the juicy details about high fashion and bridal fashion photography, I want to know a little bit more about you and your journey as a photographer and how'd you end up here?
Okay, so this is a long one, but I'm just going to condense it for you. So I actually started photography in a really teeny town in Idaho, shooting nothing but fake flower burlap weddings. And I actually shot my first wedding for only $50. And I cringe when I think about it. But ever since I shot that first wedding, I just knew I just love this. And I would see Pinterest and I would see all of these luxury weddings and I was just like, hey, one day I'm going to get there and I'm going to do that. And me and my husband, he used to shoot with me and we shot for a few years in Idaho and then we knew the market there just wasn't happening for what I wanted to shoot. And so we packed up our things and we moved to Pittsburgh or just outside of Pittsburgh. He's from here. And ever since then, I have just been trying to get into the luxury market and I finally broke in and it was awesome. So just being able to start from literally nothing to being able to shoot all of these beautiful city weddings, it's really fun. And I'm just grateful for the journey and for the process of shooting everything to finding what I really do want to shoot and I love. So.
Oh, awesome. So I need to know some details. How did you even break into the luxury market? Because I know that it is no easy feat to do.
It's not. And that's what I love about the luxury market is I was able to break in by specializing in a few different categories. And so, for example, for luxury markets, a lot of the weddings, at least, I don't know about in DC specifically, but in Pittsburgh, most of them are big ballroom weddings. And so I saw a need and a lack thereof in my industry or my market where there was just not a lot of off-camera flash. And so I was able to dive deep into that and really learn it and just being able to just tell my couples, I specialize in off-camera flash and that's where all their money's being spent. So I'm I can capture those details perfectly. And then being able to specialize in bridal fashion. The luxury bride wants to obviously look her very best because she's spending so much money on designer gowns. And so being able to specialize in bridal fashion, I think gets my brides to have a little bit more trust in me. And that's just a few of the things that have really helped me. And we're just working with planners that have really been able to launch that for me. So.
Oh, no, I think that's totally on topic because we really don't know what a luxury bride looks for. And so I wanted to really tap into that to say, if you are wanting to, break into the luxury market, this is what luxury brides are looking for. They're looking for editorial style, bridal fashion, photography.
Being able to add that editorial flair to your work. I have found that my brides absolutely adore that and they love being able to look like they should be in a magazine, magazine worthy pictures. So it's been really fun to be able to add that, to my portfolio and to my weddings as well.
Right. And so I imagine that luxury weddings are absolutely fabulous, but I do want to know if you ever encounter any challenges when you were trying to really hone in on your niche and specialize in off-camera flash and things like that. What did that process look like for you when you were really drilling down to say, this is what I'm going to specialize in? Did you have to go to any workshops, get a mentor, coach? What type of training did you do to build up your skill level?
Yes. So I'm a firm believer of education galore. So I took a workshop for off-camera flash, and then I bought a few courses just online that I just dived into, and that was off-camera flash. I also did, crazy enough, I did tons of free work to be able to build that portfolio, to be able to show that to my luxury client, bride and groom. And so when I finally nailed down and I felt, pretty confident in my off-camera flash, I reached out to a planner and we planned this whole styled shoot indoors. So it would force me to learn it and to be able to do my very, very best at it, instead of just doing the typical outside natural light where I knew I could already do that, but to be able to just challenge and to do something that scares you, which for me it was off-camera flash, and all of these vendors were just counting on me to do these beautiful pictures inside. So that pushed me the most to have that in the calendar and been okay, by this date, I need to be a pro at learning this. So that was the biggest thing for me. I would say just being able to challenge yourself and to just go for it. So
I love that. And what keeps you fired up? Because I'm feeding off your high energy right now. And I want to know what really helped you push past your fear to learn off-camera lighting. Because I know that when I was learning off-camera lighting, and I still am, I'm not an expert at it yet, but I'm very close to it. But I know that was something that scared me very early on. I knew how to use my off-camera flash and I knew how to but at the level where I'm attracting a different type of clientele and I'm using that lighting to set me apart from others in my industry. How do you push past the internal
fear of what if I can't do it? So right when I started photography, I don't know if you've heard of Jana Williams before.
Yes.
Yes. So I was a total YouTube and Google student. I didn't go to school for this. And so she did this YouTube episode where she's just shoot something every single day. And so I think just being able to practice every single day on shooting it. I wasn't shooting per se the most glamorous things every single day, but I would just set up my off-camera flashes inside of my own house and just have my daughter model for me and just do different scenarios. And I'm serious, just being able to just practice. And at wedding receptions, I didn't last year have a ton of indoor ones. I still had tons of natural light weddings, but being able to just practice that, I'd bring them along anyway.
Yeah.
And then just try different lighting scenarios. I knew I didn't have to have them there, but I did anyway, just to be able to, do some extra practice. So yeah, so that's what I kind of did to just kind of push past that fear, is just to keep on practicing at weddings. So.
Oh, awesome. I love that you didn't give up and you kept working at it until you got it right. So kudos to you for doing that. I think that's really awesome. And I am now at the phase with my off-camera lighting where I'm working really hard to really set myself apart as a photographer, to really learn my off-camera lighting and to use it in more dynamic ways, as opposed to taking the safe shots with off-camera lighting.
Yes.
I think that helps really push us as creatives. One of the things for me in weddings is because they can become mundane, but I try to take that time to figure out ways to do things differently.
Yes. And I think that's perfect, because you're going to stand out and people are going to know she specializes in these gorgeous reception pictures. Yes, I want her. So kudos to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And one of the things that I did want to talk about is I'm really geeked to hear about this high fashion and bridal fashion. How in your off wedding season, you're still tapping into bridal fashion, but how'd you get into high fashion and using that as a way to fuel your creativity in the off season?
Okay, so I didn't have like an aha moment for this. I just loved, like, I would always just catch myself. I mean, I'm a magazine junkie, so I just was always flipping through magazines. I love fashion in general. And so just knowing that, I was like, you know what? I don't know anything about bridal fashion. Like, I don't know how to like pose in an editorial way. So I went and found a course, I enrolled, I did it. And then the first shoot that I did, it was just in like this storefront. It wasn't anything like crazy studio. I had a teeny backdrop, which was the biggest mistake of my life, but like I just learned so much from it. And just being able to practice on, it was just one model, 2 gowns in a little storefront, the bridal storefront, nothing crazy, but just being able to do that one, that kind of was like, oh, you know what? Like, I do like this and I'm just going to keep it going. So every month, everyone's heard this phrase of do one thing a day that scares you. And I can't do one thing a day that scares me. Otherwise I would have like anxiety attacks. So I just did one thing a month that scared me. So over like the winter months, every single month, I would just plan. It wasn't anything elaborate. It was a model, beautiful gowns, and hair and makeup. And then I got backdrops and just being able to like practice different lighting scenarios. I practiced one with off-camera flash, the other just natural light. So just being able to just play on my off season, it's been awesome. And then those pictures that I've been able to post from it have been, again, able to attract that ideal client for my market.
I like what you just said, that you did the work to put together a style to shoot what you wanted to attract.
Yes. It's so fun. And it's so crazy how when you start posting, I mean, I've always heard those before, you know, like post who you want to attract. And it was just kind of like, oh yeah, everyone says that, but it's so true. Like I started posting my bridal fashion, my off-camera flash, and like, those are the type of clients I have now. And it's just so funny to see like how it actually does work. So.
And is it hard to put together a style shoot? What all really goes into pulling together like the type of style shoot you want to do, like from concept to execution? Do you initially have a concept in mind? Are you pulling in a team to help you come up with something? Like, what does that process look like?
Okay, are you talking about for like fashion or for just actual like styled shoots like that?
For your fashion style shoots.
Okay, so just if I'm just doing fashion, I'll pull tons of like Vogue and Elle magazines, and I'll just grab inspiration from there of like posing wise. For hair and makeup, I just kind of put together a mood board of the pictures that I've pulled, and I'll send it to the hair and makeup artist. And since it's a styled shoot, I like to give them creative freedom as well. And so I just send that over and just trust them to just do the very best and to be able to find a model that like knows how to pose herself. I have found like that's a big thing too. I'll practice on like the average Joe. So like a person like me that does not know what to do in front of the camera, practice on regular brides to be able to know how to pose them. But for like the more editorial, it's really fun to see the difference between working with like a professional model on my off season, whereas like real brides for my on season. So it's just that kind of fuels my creativity as well on my off season, being able to work with these professionals that just kind of know how to move them, and just being able to see, you know, like the most flattering ways that you can pose a woman's body. It's just, it fuels my creativity. So.
Oh, awesome. And so what are some other ways that you're fueling your creativity? So I know that you're doing the high fashion and bridal fashion, but are there other things that you're doing to fuel your creativity?
I do. So on my off season as well, I'm a big advocate for, I shoot a lot of things for free still. And it's not necessarily just free because I've been asked to do it, but it's free because I'll pull together these things that are enhancing my brand. And so like, for example, just a few months ago, I had my team come over and we collabed with an invitation suite designer, and she sent us over just tons of samples. And I worked with another florist, and she just sent us tons of different blooms in exchange for just the picture, so that it was an easy collab. It was just two different businesses. Right. And we just had one day where my team came over and we had a million different flat lays everywhere. And just being able to just fuel your creativity and just being able to play with the invitations, to play with the shoes. Just, I don't know, that's something that was really, really fun this winter that me and my team did. So that's an easy way that, you know, you can get practice as well. So
yeah, because I know that sometimes as photographers, we kind of shy away from doing things for free.
Yes, 100% agree.
And I like the fact that doing something for free isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially when it's a mutually beneficial opportunity for the parties involved to do something for free, that you both have to get something out of it. So I also still do things for free too, especially when I have an idea that I want to get out and
Yes, love that.
the direction that I want to go in, or I just want to try something new. I think doing things for free, honestly, it takes the pressure off of having to perform.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You get to be free. And that, for me, that's what fuels my creativity. I don't want to have no limitations. I don't want to have to chase anybody down for money. I want to be on my time. I want to move when I want to move and how I want to move. So I think that when you have an idea that you want to execute, doing it for free is not a bad idea at all.
I 100% agree. And I'm sure, again, everyone's heard of this phrase of, probably not even a phrase, but you have to spend money to make money. And so even just being able to spend, if you know that like your vision, your shoot is going to be able to profit you in the long run. So like the big ballroom style shoot, I ended up using, some of my own money for it, but I was able to gain so many different pieces that I needed for that portfolio to show like, hey, I can shoot this, and just being able to market it. So I think, yes, always know what's best for your business. But yeah, I'm not afraid to shoot for free if it's going to enhance my brand and my business and my portfolio.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, how are you taking what you learned in your off season and integrating it into your busy season? Because I can imagine that in your off season, you're learning so much and you're challenging yourself and doing things differently. How are you able to bring that over into a regular wedding season without feeling like you have the pressure to perform or put on or anything like that? How do you just maintain your creativity throughout the season without getting tired of the work that you're producing?
Yeah, great question. So speaking of just like the flat lays, when I am able to practice on my off season and then bring that into wedding season, it obviously shows in my work just because I've been able to kind of like train my eye to see the best form of what looks better together. So me and my team, instead of spending like an hour on flat lays, we're able to condense it literally to like 25 minutes just because we're able to just kind of crank them out. And then I like doing that more because I'm able to focus on my bride and the bridesmaids a little bit longer than I normally would, to give more attention to, what really matters, the bride and her girls. And so that's kind of what I've been able to bring over. And then as far as like the bridal fashion, it's crazy because I never thought that this would happen. But when I'm shooting on the off season and I'm just every single month, I'm training my eye just to be able to see what looks better and just to experiment. And to be honest, a lot of those pictures don't turn out because I'm like, oh yeah, I did not do that one right. But a lot of them do turn out. And so being able to see the difference, just for an example, like on the wedding day, the bride will be tying up her shoe or doing up her shoe, and I'm not posing her in, because we always do, kind of stage things as wedding photographers. But when she's organically just putting it on, it's amazing to see the eye that I've been able to train myself on the off season to be able to say, oh, if I move over this way, and literally just tell her like, hey, just turn your head a little to the left. It creates this huge, it's a beautiful picture, and I don't even have to pose it. So being able to just kind of train your eye to see just the way the body moves, and especially like during couple pictures, just being able to tell the bride like, hey, put your right leg in front and just lean that knee in just a little bit to create just this beautiful shape in the gown if she's wearing a form-fitted gown. And again, I never thought that it would happen, but being able to do that on my off season, I feel it comes natural during the wedding season. And it's just after the wedding day, I don't notice it during the wedding day, but after I'm like, yes, like my training is coming to work. So It's kind of fun just to be able to just, appreciate the small things and just see all of the, the hard work that went on the off season paying off on the wedding season. So,
and it also boosts your confidence too as a photographer, because you're going in as the expert, right? Like, clients really don't know. They're looking for the photographer to guide them in posing and lighting situations and what's best for them to have the best outcome for the photo. But like you said, if we don't teach ourselves and take workshops and trainings and things like that, we won't be able to train our eye. So we
Yeah.
can go in and execute quickly because, like you said, instead of spending hours on flat lays, you're able to go in and knock them out in 25 minutes or less. And that frees you up to photograph other things throughout the wedding day. So it's not like you have to split your time between one thing or another. You're able to go in, knock out the details, go take candid moments, do portraits, do all of these things because you've worked in the off season to prepare. And I think that is what sets you apart as a luxury photographer because you're not just shooting in season, but you're shooting out of season too.
Yes, 100% agree. And again, and just exactly what you said, like being able just to have the confidence to, like, for example, for the off-camera flash, like I used to dread receptions. I'm just going to be completely honest. I'd go in and be like, okay, like time to, shoot this part of the day. But now they're like literally my favorite thing. I'll go in and be like, yes, like I get to like play with these flashes. And it's just fun that me and my team, we all have our little walkie-talkies on and our little earpieces, and you'll hear some of my assistants go like, yes, you guys gotta see this picture, and we'll meet up for dinner and be like, look at this one, look at the light and her like veil and stuff. So it's just really fun, and it totally is exactly what you said. It's a huge confidence booster to see everything, like all of the hard work that you put in, like finally paying off, and just being able to like obviously gift those pictures to your clients and being like, and just seeing their reactions like, oh my gosh, like we spent so much time on this reception and you captured it beautifully. So I 100% agree. I think confidence goes a long way of setting yourself apart as being, the professional and them trusting you. So yeah, great point.
No, I love that. And also what I love about that is that how you're able to effortlessly guide your clients in posing. And like you said, if she's lacing up her shoe, you're able to say, turn your head this way. But if you're not educating yourself or looking at the magazines, like you mentioned earlier, we wouldn't know how to create these editorial bridal fashion style photos if we're not looking at the types of magazines that brides envision themselves in, or wanting to be in that space. Maybe they don't want to be in a magazine, but they like the look and feel of editorial and bridal fashion. So knowing how to pose them also plays a really important part of it. I think that looking at your work, not only does your lighting set you apart, but your posing does too. Like, although we're guiding them into posing, it still looks very organic and natural. And that's what really sets a luxury photographer apart from, photographers.
Yeah. So, thank you. That was
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really have confidence as a photographer in order to communicate with your client. I think a lot of times that we don't know how to communicate with our clients. We have to, like you said, we have to position ourselves as the subject matter expert to say, hey, trust me, this is what I do.
Yes. And you'll always get a little hesitation from some brides, like, are you sure you want me? I'm like, yes, like, just trust me. And it turns out to be like the most beautiful portrait. But yeah, and it's again, just having that trust and them being like, you know what, you're the professional, best, and just kind of owning it too. I'm a big advocate for just, like, if someone's not doing it, just own it. So
exactly. And I think that you can fake it until you make it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I used to dread having to pose my clients, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized it was because I didn't educate myself enough beforehand to let them know what I wanted them to do. I just knew that I wanted them to look fabulous in their outfit. And this was my favorite line. Oh, just do whatever you feel.
Oh, that was me too. I was like, just do you guys. Just do you.
Just do you. How you feeling? Just do that. Yeah. And I'll make it look pretty. But it takes a whole lot more effort than that.
Oh my gosh, yes, it totally does. And I think of it this way. If they're going to be investing all of this money into you, then you should be investing your time into learning and to, doing your best. So it's kind of an investment both ways. That's kind of how I look at it.
No, that's real. That's so real. And what I love about that, to hear that you say, oh, I went through that too. It lets me know that I'm not by myself, because nobody will ever say out loud that, this is how I really used to do it. Like, I see
Oh
where
my
you
gosh.
are now, and oh, it looks like you've been doing this in your sleep, and it's just not the case. You just really had to go through some things to
Yes.
But, I'm happy to report that I no longer say, just do your thing. You look good.
Oh, I know. I love your behind the scenes and seeing like you work with your couples. I'm like, yes, girl, yes, you're killing it.
Yeah, you gotta kill it, man. And like you said, you gotta own it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I noticed my confidence level when I wasn't owning it versus when I own it. And
Yes.
it actually makes for a better experience for your clients.
100% agree. Yes.
Because they're free to let their guard down and be themselves.
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like we have to remember that this is our client's first time doing this. And we've done this hundreds of times. But so we can't go in with the expectation that they're just supposed to know and supposed to do. We really need to provide them with a luxury experience, not only in shooting, but in execution as well, and how we educate them beforehand, right? Like, we're educating them about their experience, our luxury experience with us through, from consultation, through engagement session, through the actual wedding day. And little by little, they feel comfortable enough to let their guard down and be themselves. I mean, because the first thing that I get from clients all the time is, oh, I don't like posing.
And I still get that too. I do. My clients are still like, we're not super comfortable. And I'm like, don't worry, that's my job. That's not your job. Your job is to have fun on your wedding day, to have fun in your engagement session. Like, leave that to the person behind the camera. So I still get that too.
Yeah.
Don't even worry.
It's so hilarious. I just think it's so cute because, again, they don't know. I think that a lot of times that, a lot of people are influenced by what they see on social media and, wedding websites and things like that. And so they want to, and Pinterest too, but they want to emulate that as opposed to really trusting in the photographer to let us curate an experience for them so they can get bridal fashion inspired photos and just making sure that they have a great experience, and even editorial style pieces too. But it comes with also client education. So I want to jump right into that and ask, how are you educating your clients on what the luxury experience is with you?
I love talking about this because I feel like okay, I'm just going to condense this. But for my whole luxury experience, I feel like it starts with how I do my emails to even what I wear. I want to emulate the look of luxury. So it even comes down to what I wear, how I act when I'm around them, which is obviously me, but just very professional. Like, if you're going to be in the luxury experience, everything from the beginning email until the very last thing that you send out, which is my client gifts, and that's how they receive their final galleries. But from beginning to end, from the initial consultation through the engagement session to the wedding day, and just we always meet up for timelines and venue walkthroughs. I offer that for my clients as well, just to add to that experience, so they know, like, me going into the wedding day, they do not have to worry about me whatsoever. I know the venue, I know their timeline, I know their wedding planners, they know prior, to their engagement session, they know I'm going to post them. So just, again, coming back to that same exact thing, just being able for them to trust me, and just for my confidence to be like, yeah, like, I'm gonna own it. Like, I'm gonna do good on your wedding day. I'm gonna do good on your engagement session. And I think just making sure, you as the photographer, you're just, I keep saying this, you're just owning it. And then all the way from that luxury experience, for me personally, I feel like if I just sent them an email with their gallery, that's kind of, they're going up, they're going so high. And then, just an email, it just doesn't do the gallery justice. So I make sure I have these beautifully curated boxes with 5 of their fine art prints in there. And then it has a link to their gallery in the box. So they're receiving all of these beautiful paper goods, and it's not just another email that they're receiving. So I think just thinking about every little detail of your experience and making sure that it's not like I'm spending a ton of money on each of my clients. It's me spending a little bit more time creating this beautiful experience for them. And I think that's also what can set, just a photographer in the luxury market apart, is just being able to, like you said, just being able to create just a really good experience for them.
That's so awesome. Like I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking, wow, what other touches could I add into my process to really make it feel more like a luxury experience for my clients? And you provided some great pointers that will really go a long way. And I think that will help transform some people's businesses too. I think it, like you said, it's not about the money that you're putting in, but the time that you're investing into your clients, which helps
Yes.
make it a luxury experience. I don't necessarily think that to make it a luxury experience, it has to be about the money you're putting out, but
No, it
more so
doesn't. Yeah.
about the time and attention that you're showing your client. And even going to the venue, that's the extra added touch that, you know, that will go a long way. Because like you said, most clients want to know, have you shot at my venue before?
Yes.
Well, I may not have shot at your venue, but I was with you during your walkthrough. And
Yes, and I know where everything is. Yeah, it's just going back to the building confidence in yourself and showing that to your client. Yeah, I totally agree
yeah,
with what you're saying.
yeah. And it's almost like we are trying to build trust from the consultation all the way through the final delivery. We're building trust every little step and every little thing that we do to add to that trust factor makes it easier for us as photographers to own it and easier
Yes.
for clients to trust us in delivering that final product.
I feel like I need to say like, amen. Yes. High five,
Amen.
virtual high fives. Yes, I love it.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to know what keeps you inspired in fueling your creativity. I heard so many amazing things, but I want to kind of wrap it up in a pretty bow and just leave us with some takeaways that will help us in fueling our creativity.
Okay, just condensing everything into just my biggest tip, I would honestly say just try and shoot something every day. It's going to give you more confidence in your shooting. It's going to help you learn your camera more. It's going to help you get content creation, which is so key for getting to where you want to be for your social media. Trying to shoot one thing every single day. I think that's the biggest tip I can give.
Oh, awesome. Wait, so you said something that I totally forgot about during our whole conversation.
Good.
You mentioned content creation.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. Like, how does that fit into a luxury experience? Because in my mind, I thought that maybe most luxury clients may not want to be that visible on social media. So how do you balance that for clients who don't want their luxury wedding seen on social media and those that do? And because this is how you market your business. So
Yes. And I find that what you put out is what you get out or is what you get back. And so my clients know, like, I love Instagram. I'm just going to say I love it. It's great for my marketing and I market the heck out of my couples. So they come into my business knowing, like, after their engagement session, I take boomerangs while I shoot of them. I love showing my face on social media. That just builds more trust in my clients. So being able to just kind of brand yourself, and my clients already know, like, they're going to, after their wedding day, I have a team of 3 and one of my assistant for the wedding day, she's got her little fanny pack and she's taking pictures and videos and she's taking time lapses, and just to be able to show the type of weddings that we shoot on social media the day after, that's helped us out a ton. And we've just started this last year, and it's crazy the amount of inquiries that we get the day after that we post all of our, social media content from a wedding. So that's one thing that we're definitely going to keep on improving and learning on. But it's been a really fun year of just kind of being able to experiment with, all of the different things you can do for social media.
I just want to give you a high five because I learned that too recently in the last year of implementing social media more into my business and showing up on the days where I'm working with my clients. I didn't realize how much people really enjoy the behind the scenes. Like they feel like they're there. And one of the things that I really learned from showing up more on the wedding days and doing behind the scenes is that my future brides really enjoyed that because they now got to see what the process is like on the wedding day. It's nothing like telling them in an email or showing them a bridal guide and kind of saying, here's your bridal guide. This is what to expect for the wedding day. Here's a list of things that will happen. I just want to prepare you for your photography experience. But it's nothing like actually showing up and seeing it
Yes. Okay. Gone are the days when words really matter. Like, you have to show your clients why they need you. And you can do all the posts that you want about it. But yes, 100% what you said, like being able to show your clients why they need you, it's perfect. Like, that's what you have to do on social media these days.
Yeah, it's like a mind blown moment for me when I realized that how important it was for me to show why people need me, why they are investing in me. It's not just showing all the glamorous, pretty pictures and things like that, but oh, I'm hiring her because she knows how to deal with unforeseen circumstances that happen on a wedding day. I had a situation that happened at a wedding where the getting ready venue didn't allow for any like outdoor portraits or anything like that. Like, it was a hotel and it was in a city and I couldn't really take them out anywhere to take any photos. And so I hopped on and said, hey, I thought that we were going to be able to, the hotel would have nice scenery, like a little, greenery and things like that, where I can take them out and make something out of nothing. But this area just absolutely had nothing. So I picked the cleanest wall in the hotel room and I created some high-end portraiture just on that wall. I moved the sofa out of the way and I got busy on that clean wall and I created some timeless images. So if I had to choose, and the reason why I decided to show that is because it doesn't always work out. Like, we can go to the venue and scout and things like that, but on the day of, various things can change, like lighting can change.
Everything happens
on a wedding day. Construction happens.
Yep.
There's just a whole lot of things, but you got to be able to prepare and know how to pivot and not freak out.
Yep.
When things
Showing
don't
your
go
confidence.
Yep. You got to own it and you got to be confident and you're the expert and this is what you do. And you have to, when I find myself in sticky situations, I have to say, this is what I do.
Yes.
What I do. And there's always a silver lining. There's always a clean wall. And so if you had to pick between, I don't know, brick and construction and green and all that, I will always choose a clean wall because that's more high end.
Yep, 100%.
More timeless in creating images. So I think that's something really important when we're creating images. Make sure that they're going to be clean and classic and they make for high end photos. So
yes, and I love how you are showing your brides, not just the image, but how you got that image, because I think that speaks more than words. And I mean, it's just a fact that video is doing so much better on social media. And so kudos to you for showing up on social media and being able to show, the story behind the shot. So I think that goes a long way in people's trust.
It really does. And future brides and current brides really love it. And they love saying, oh, I know that she's going to take care of me. That's how you're also adding on that trust factor too.
Exactly. I love it. Yes, 100%.
I love this conversation. So before we wrap up, can you tell us how we can stay connected to you online?
Yes. My Instagram is at Megan Lee Photography PA. And then my website is www.meganleephotography.co.
Awesome. Thanks so much for stopping by. I can't wait to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay. Bye, girlfriend.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Purpose to Create podcast. Share, like, comment, or review this episode. Check out the show notes at www.purposetocreatepodcast.com and connect with us online at Purpose to Create.